Modern cars are faster, safer, and more technologically advanced than anything we've ever had before. A basic family sedan today can outrun supercars from the 1990s, and even entry-level performance cars come packed with launch control, adaptive suspension, and massive touchscreens. Yet despite all this progress, something feels missing. Ask almost any car enthusiast what their dream car is, and most of the answers come from the past. Supras, Skylines, classic Mustangs, Corvettes, or raw analog sports cars. It raises an important question. If modern cars are objectively better, why do they feel emotionally empty? Automation took over the driving experience. One of the biggest reasons new cars feel soulless is how automated driving has become. Older cars demanded involvement. You had to manage the clutch, feel the gear engagement, and learn throttle control through trial and error. Every drive was a skill-building experience. Today, most performance cars don't even offer manual transmissions, and when they do, they're often overshadowed by lightning-fast automatics. Modern vehicles also come loaded with driver aids like traction control, stability systems, automatic rev matching, and drive modes that alter the car's personality at the push of a button. These features make cars faster and easier to drive, but they also remove the sense of accomplishment. You're no longer mastering the machine, the computer is doing it for you. Cars used to reward driver skill, now they reward convenience. Driving has become less about connection and more about comfort. Emissions regulations killed sound and character. Another major factor is emissions regulations, which have fundamentally changed how engines sound and feel. Naturally aspirated engines once defined a car's character. V8s delivered deep mechanical rumble. Inline engines screamed at high RPMs, and even smaller motors had distinct personalities. Today, turbocharging dominates nearly every segment because it helps manufacturers meet fuel economy and emission standards. While turbo engines are efficient and powerful, they often mute sound and throttle response. Stricter exhaust laws have also made modern cars quieter than ever, forcing automakers to pipe artificial engine noise through speakers just to create excitement. Instead of hearing combustion and mechanical movement, drivers are often listening to synthesized soundtracks. Modern cars may be quicker on paper, but they've lost their emotional voice. Screens replaced soul. Interiors play a massive role in why modern cars feel empty. Step into almost any new vehicle, and you'll see giant digital displays, touch-sensitive controls, and glossy black plastic everywhere. Physical gauges and buttons are disappearing in favor of screens that handle everything from climate control to seat adjustments. Older cars were designed around the driver. You had real analog dials, tactile switches, and layouts that made you feel like you were sitting in something mechanical. Today's interiors feel more like smartphones on wheels. When every dashboard looks the same and every interface is digital, individuality disappears. You're interacting with software instead of machinery, and that removes a huge part of the driving experience. Cars are built for everyone, not enthusiasts. Modern cars aren't built with enthusiasts in mind anymore. They're built for the widest possible audience. Today's automakers design vehicles to satisfy safety regulations, emission standards, insurance companies, and lease customers before they ever think about driving feel. Steering is tuned to be light and effortless instead of communicative. Suspensions are softened for comfort. Throttle response is mapped for smoothness, not excitement. Everything is engineered to feel easy, predictable, and inoffensive. Car companies now prioritize features like adaptive cruise control, lane keeping assist, wireless charging pads, and massive infotainment screens because that's what sells to the average buyer walking into a dealership. Back in the past, manufacturers competed over who built the best driver's car. You could feel clear differences between brands. BMWs were known for balance, Hondas for precision, American cars for raw power. Today, most vehicles feel remarkably similar because they're all chasing the same goals: 5-star safety ratings, quiet cabins, and maximum comfort. Even performance models are softened so anyone can hop in and drive fast without effort. The result is cars that are incredibly capable but emotionally sterile. Enthusiasts used to influence car design. Now they're an afterthought, which is why so many modern vehicles feel less like machines with personality and more like appliances on wheels. Everything is too perfect. Modern cars are also victims of their own perfection. Advances in engineering have eliminated almost every flaw that older cars had. Transmissions shift instantly. Traction control prevents wheel spin. Stability systems correct mistakes before drivers even realize they made one. Suspensions automatically adapt to the road. While all of this makes driving safer and faster, it also removes unpredictability, and unpredictability is what made cars exciting. Older cars demanded respect. They had heavy steering, imperfect brakes, sudden power delivery, and chassis that would let you know when you were pushing too hard. You had to learn their behavior, understand their limits, and adapt your driving style. Every car felt different, and mastering one felt rewarding. Today, modern cars insulate drivers from nearly everything. You don't feel the road through the steering wheel. You don't feel the engine through the pedals. Computers step in before things get interesting. Driving becomes passive instead of engaging. It's like playing a racing game with all the assists turned on. Technically impressive, but emotionally flat. There's no struggle, no learning curve, no sense of growth. Cars used to challenge drivers. Now they protect them from themselves. And while that makes sense for safety, it also strips away the rawness that once made driving special. New cars aren't bad. They're incredibly capable machines, and from a technical standpoint, they're better than anything before them. But somewhere along the way, we traded connection for convenience and personality for performance numbers. Old cars made you feel involved. They required effort, and that effort created emotional attachment. That's why the cars people fall in love with usually aren't the newest or fastest ones. They're the cars that made you shift for yourself, listen to the engine, and feel every input. They're the cars that made driving an experience instead of just transportation. And maybe that's why modern cars feel soulless.